I had just crushed everything in my Gravedigger Legend. I had to trust everything in my way. I would have been had my thermals on. All right, Larry on line one. Larry, tales from the horrible night that was on the roads. What's up, Larry? You're on the fan.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry, I got disconnected last time.
Oh, sorry about that. Just listening to Mike Wise. How are you? Welcome to the snow edition of DCR-TV Plus, Dave TV. And we didn't lose power here at the DCR-TV World Headquarters. No, we didn't lose power actually because we're on the same grid as Safeway and Thoreau Place Senior Citizen Housing Complex. So and plus all of our power lines here are underground, the feeder lines and everything. So we always lose power here on nice, bright, sunny, warm days. And during big storms, it blinks a lot, but gosh, that hat just, I hate people that wear hats and look, how there. Anywho, what am I doing here today? We're going to look at, swing this thing around. A good friend of mine recently, or not recently, a while back, gave me, they had a DVD that was just old television. And this is from the 1980s. Just television shot from the 1980s. Okay? And it's local TV, so you can watch all the old ads. And here's a good one. This is like a remember First Virginia Bank? I mean, this is wild. You can watch all these old, they're Evans catalogs. You can watch all these old TV shows, all these old commercials. Some of them have some news breaks in them with some of the old, news people. It's really fascinating to watch this, and if you really want to go back in time, bizarre stuff. And this friend sent me hours and hours and hours of this stuff. It's wild. It's wild. Dick Clark's Good Old Days, which was a special on NBC. Wait, I don't know, 1980 something. But just to sit there and watch television from the 1980s, complete uncut, with the commercials still in it and the promos for the old TV shows. I think that's just absolutely fascinating. I did a quick rant on my website today, davetv12.mp4, and let's change this around here. I'm getting tired of that glare from that window. Oh, see, those are my gloves. They're drying out. There, get over here. Yeah. The glare from the window. Is that any better? So anyhow, I like to congratulate the Washington area forecasters. Like to congratulate the Washington area forecasters. This is crazy. I'm just going to have to do it up here. For getting the snowcast right yesterday. They predicted a big, fast-moving storm that was going to come in about 4 o'clock and leave about 8 or 9 o'clock. And it came in, and it dumped a whole lot of wet snow, and it left. But people were stuck in it. A lot of people got stuck on the GW Parkway and other roads. And really, if they had listened and paid attention, and if the OPM, which handles the federal government closings and stuff, if they had listened to the weather people, this would have been minimized. It was terrible. Cars were abandoned out on the roads out there, and it was really awful, and it got bad really, really fast. So the problem is what happened. I really think there's too much storm hype on television today, and it's getting people immune to it. They hype a storm in December. They hype another storm in December. They hype another storm in January, and they don't turn out to be big storms. And then they hype a storm in late January that does turn out to be a major storm that is, life or death kind of thing. And people, they've heard it before, and they just say, okay, yeah, all right, we're going to get 2 or 3 sloppy inches, and that'll be it. And it turns out to be a really nasty storm. I'm not blaming the weather forecasters, Howie and Topper and Doug and Sue and Bob and Doug, the other Doug, the Doug of 4 and the Doug of 7. I'm not blaming them. I think they do all a pretty good job. Who I do blame, I think, is some of the TV station managers who, looking at those news ratings and realize if there's snow in that, news teaser at, 10:45, that they're going to get a higher tune-in at 11. And so I think that the stations are more likely to, put snow, even if there's a light chance of snow, they're going to make a big fuss about putting it in the teasers. Snow this weekend? Details at 11. And you get to that point where you just get, okay. A little less storm hype from the station's PR and storm management people might be a good thing, and it might just bring back a little more credibility to some of the hardworking weathercasters who I do think, I think Doug Hill and I think Topper Shutt and I think Howie Bernstein and folks like that, I think they really are good people and they really do a good job and they take themselves seriously and they are trying to produce forecasts that are truly, as close to reality as what they're going to be. But I think a lot of times the management of the station says, we need to hype that weather, scare people, get them to watch. And yeah, that may be good for ratings, but I think in the long run it tends to hurt credibility. Okay, so that's that. By the way, the power last night was blinking a bit here. I was thinking, okay, it might just go out. So I got my little portable DVD player over here, which is hooked up to a battery. And so I said, okay, let me just turn off the TV set over here because I don't think the power surges are good for the TV. So I cranked up some copies of Larry Sanders. The Larry Sanders Show. Remember that? Great thing. Great show from the old days of HBO. They've actually released a huge set of this, every single episode. I only got the little thing that came out a couple years ago, just a selection of episodes. But it's fun to watch, and it's wonderful television. It is a bit dated, but I like it a lot. And that's what I was watching last night. I was sitting here watching this, having a nice adult beverage, and power was blinking off and on. And I said, I don't care. What the hell? And now I'm going to tease you about one more thing here. In an upcoming episode of DCRTV Dave's Dave TV, we're going to take a look through this wonderful book, Baltimore Broadcasting from A to Z by Thomas O'Connor. And there is some cool stuff in it. The problem is the book is literally falling apart. So the pages literally just, you open it up and they all fall out. But there's a lot of cool stuff in here. WBAL's 50 Years on the Air. You ever heard of them, WBAL? Some people in Baltimore say they can pick them up. I don't know. On 1090. I don't know. You might be able to get it. Here we got, Chris Thomas and Randy Blair of WJZ. Wow. There was so much tragedy in old WJZ TV back in the 70s and 80s. So many of their good anchors and people died suddenly, and Randy Blair died while playing a charity basketball game. Wow. Of course, Jerry Turner, the late, great Jerry Turner. We'll do some stuff on him one of these days, too. John Saunders, Jack Dawson, and Scott. Look at Scott Garceau. There's Scott Garceau there on the right. Look at him. He looks like he's 12. He's a nice guy. I like Scott. Great radio show on the WJZ FM 105.7. I got so much 105.9 on my brain. 105.7 in Baltimore. Okie dokie. That's our show for today. Keep it real. And keep on trucking. Keep on visiting DCRTV.com. And don't forget to stay tuned.